warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before we start our presentation, we let us to introduce ourselves. My name is SURYA DEWI and my friend WIDIA NINGSIH, DANY, MAULIDYAH, and Lindawati Hasyim who takes video. And I will give you information about their part. Anna will explain about method and proposition 1, and Dany about proposition 2, and Lindawati Hasyim will explain about proposition 3 and conclusion. And let's jump to our material. Our material come from the journal article with the title is Kekeluargaan as an Indonesia's Organizational Culture. Okay, the first part is about introduction. From the introduction, I found the 3 important points. The first is this paper will be described about kekeluargaan, which derives from an anthropological and sociological epistemology. And the second is this paper try to explore the Japanese culture as the foundation of Indonesia's business context. And the third point is this study attempt to contextualize kekeluargaan norm and its application to Indonesian business and management culture. Okay, I will explain a little bit definition of organizational and kekeluargaan. Based on Hasyim, organizational is a culture and contents of artifact of physical environment of an organization, and it is product of technology and other pattern of behaviors. And he also mentioned values of with moral of employees, nature and relationship to the environment. The second definition is of kekeluargaan based on Kamus Besar Bahasa Indonesia. Kekeluargaan define perihal keluarga or about family. And the next part is about the root of kekeluargaan, especially in the Japanese culture. Based on Alairi and Tirsirotu, they define culture into 2 different point of view. The first is culture as a socio-cultural system, and the second is culture as an educational system. Culture as a socio-cultural system is a component of this. Culture is a component of the social system and manifests in behavior or way of life, and it is product of behavior. And the second point of view is culture as an educational system. Culture as an educational system is culture is a product of minds and in which people share meanings and symbols. Okay, from the Japanese culture, there are 4 basic forms of the Japanese terminology system. They are bilateralism, generational, seniority, and gender. So, what is bilateralism? Bilateralism is reflect the 2 sides of family. For example, like from father side and mother side. The second is generational. Generational is illustrate the generation in a family relationship. For example, like father and mother, brother and sister, and grandfather and grandmother. And the last point is seniority and gender. So what is seniority and gender? Seniority and gender is describe about differentiate the category of ancestry into a junior and senior level. For example, like if someone in the parental generation is a woman, she is called Mbak, she is called Bu or Ibu, and while man is called Pak or Bapak. And if a woman is considered senior, the appropriate designation is Mbak, and if the senior is a man, is called Mas. important points of the Japanese culture. The first is based on Anderson. Anderson said where the Japanese relationships are based on division of power. Power, in this case, power is constant, power is homogeneous, and that power is independent. And for example is someone's position maybe. And the second point from Kunchara Ningrat, that the Japanese believe in a feeling that people are not alone in the world. This means that people always need help from each other, and usually the Japanese people call this tepa suira. And the next is the Japanese endeavor to treat people with whom they have business or personal relationships are relatives by blood. This means that Japanese people always treat others people like their own sibling, even though their relationship is limited to their colleagues or neighbors. And the Japanese commonly mention mangan ora mangan nguboy. And this is a diagram of level of Japanese feeling toward others. From the top level shows feeling toward our superior, and while the lower directions shows the inferior nature to others. And the horizontal lines describe about positive and negative attitude toward others. And that's all from me, and will be continued to Anna.
So I will continue this presentation. I will explain about the methodology and the proposition 1. Okay, the methodology of this paper. The purpose of this paper is to explore about one culture using native perspective. So this culture will explore about Japanese culture, which is kekeluargaan, using the native perspective, which is the Japanese people itself. So, what is the approach that this paper used? So, this paper used indigenous approach. What is indigenous approach? Indigenous approach is approach that use a native perspective. So, the object of the interview. So the object of the interview is the native culture itself. It's like indigenous means pribumi. So like what I have talked before, if you want to know about Japanese culture, so the one who we have to get the data, the one who we have to interview is the Japanese people itself. And next is, what is the purpose of indigenous research or indigenous approach? So the purpose of indigenous approach is to get a better understanding about culture, to get a more respectful, ethical, correct, sympathetic, useful, and beneficial fashion from the point of view of indigenous people. So it means that we want to get a fresh data, a correct data from the native people. How the data was collected in this paper? So in this paper, the data was collected in twofold. The first is by document analysis and interview analysis. The document analysis is like the researcher get the data from the previous research that have been done by another researchers, like the journal that have been done by another researcher. And And the interview analysis, they do an analysis into institution. The one institution is from the big four accounting firms, and the second institution is a private university. So these two institutions have the similar background. It's like the founding father and the leader that originated from Indo-Chinese descendants, and both of the institution staff employed is by multi-ethnic staff and both of institutions are located in Jakarta. So the both institutions have similar background. And each of the interviewee, the people who are being interviewed for this research is 10 interviewees from each institution. The interviewees were found to be mixed ethnic and expatriate group, including Japanese, Minangkabau, Batak, Chinese, Indonesian, Filipino, and French. Expatriate. Why as expatriate? Because expatriate is the one who live in another country, then they move in a country that it more than 5 years. So in this research, the researchers also interview an expatriate people to make a comparison in their culture and their preferred culture in their previous country and with Indonesia. So they want to make a comparison by the expatriate from the data that they get from the expatriate group. Okay, the next is proposition to kekeluargaan organizational culture. Proposition to I will tell you about the proposition 1 is the a typology of kekeluargaan organizational culture. There are two basic principles of Japanese social life. There are hormat and rukun. I will tell you about the hormat. Hormat means respect. So and hormat is divided into two categories. There are bapakism and isin. Bapakism is from the word bapa. It means that they are a leader in a family, and the word bapa is defined as father, a charismatic figure who commands respect, obedience, and loyalty from subordinates. Bapakism requires society to respect the older people and respect the norm that applies in a family and manifests extensively in Japanese social life. And Bapakism in business context. I will tell you about Bapakism in business context. Bapakism in business context is like the figure of leader in a institution. Bapak is like the founder of the company or institution. Bapak is present as the leading role of a person that is the highest leader in the company, and it's like and Bapak also and Bapakism also showed like in a business context. Bapakism also showed like the relationship between the leader and the staff, that the staff have to give respect to the leader, something like that. And the next is isin and sungkan. Isin and sungkan, both of them is like shyness or shame feeling. It's like embrace, but sungkan has a more positive feeling than isin. Sungkan illustrated as a feeling of respectful politeness before a superior or unfamiliar equal. In business context, isin and sungkan is often showed. It's like the respectful to the supervisor or the senior in their company. In business context, sungkan is often showed when the staff express their feeling, when the staff have to express their feelings, like show the disagreement about this institution, or they want to give a comment or critique to the institution. Normally the staff is feels sungkan or shy to show their disagreement, or show their comment. So in that condition, the word sungkan is the proper word to represent that condition. And but isin is more negative feeling, but it is rarely showed in a business context. And instead of feeling, instead of isin, the proper word to express is like afraid. Is afraid. Like instead of feeling, the perfect words to show about the feeling isin is afraid.
Okay, I will continue the presentation from my partner Anna. She has explained about Proposition 1, the typology of Proposition 1. She has mentioned about hormat, and the realization is bapakism and isin or sungkan, isin and sungkan. And now the second value in Japanese culture from the first typology, that is rukun. We can see rukun has the realization, and it is divided into two. The first is musyawarah mufakat, and the second is gotong royong. Okay, now we will talk about rukun first. What is rukun? Rukun or harmony can be represented a maintenance social harmony. In Japanese culture, rukun is very important, and the society in Java have to has this attitude. Why? Because rukun can avoid the friction, the problem, and something make their relationship broke. So rukun is very important for them. And in rukun, the value in rukun, when the culture in Japanese society, when they have problem in a group, they will not tell that problem to another group or another people outside the group. Why? Because this is the way how they keep the harmony or rukun in their family, in their society. So all of the society in Japanese make sure that they are live in harmony, in harmonious, like that. And then musyawarah mufakat. Musyawarah mufakat can be represented as an equal attitude to face the different view and the different opinion in the society, in the Japanese society. And musyawarah mufakat, we know that is something like we discuss about problem that we have. That is to discuss the problem that we have and how to solve the problem. And when we solve the problem, make sure that all of the people, there is no people who are not satisfied with the result. So we use musyawarah mufakat to be the way in Japanese society. And musyawarah mufakat is adopted from the value of the ideology of Indonesia, that is Pancasila. That is from the ideology Pancasila number 4. And in business context, because in our journal article we use business context, so the musyawarah mufakat in business context, that is like at the school or at the office, when always have committee, and committee always be the part to discuss and solve the problem in that institution. Like at the school and at the office, they actually committee just to be the part intended to build better control in that institution. But nowadays, committee become the part being the part to solve the problem and discuss with all of the members in that institution. And then gotong royong. In gotong royong, stop. Okay, and then in musyawarah mufakat starts with the notion of being tolerant. Why? In musyawarah mufakat we have different opinion, we have different view, and absolutely that we have to being tolerant with other people. From this tolerant we can receive all of the different opinion and make in one conclusion to solve the problem and make sure that there are not members who are not satisfied with the result. So musyawarah mufakat is the way how they solve the problem in Japanese society. And the next is gotong royong. Gotong royong. Okay, gotong royong in Japanese society, the nature attitude from the Japanese society to helping each other, because in Japanese society they always care to every people who get problem and who get difficulties like that. So gotong royong is the important value for the Japanese society. And the example of gotong royong in business context, like when there is people who permit to go from the office then the manager will permit her or him, and then when the people or the labor permit to the manager to go from the office, and the reason with the reasonable reason, like my mother is sick, so I have to take her to the doctor. And then we will have the feeling of sympathy or empathy, and that feeling have been represented the kind of gotong royong, because from the sympathy and empathy we will try to help them like that. So actually in Japanese society we always have the feeling which represented of gotong royong, and gotong royong become the important values to make rukun from help each other like that. And then this is the typology of kekeluargaan, which have been presented by Anna and me. And from kekeluargaan, I can explain from kekeluargaan we can divide it into two values. Those are hormat or respect, and then the second rukun or harmony. And then hormat and respect have realization. Those are isin and sungkan, which have been explained by Anna. And then rukun or harmony has realization and divided into two. Those are musyawarah mufakat and gotong royong, which have been explained by me. Okay, now I will continue my explanation that is about proposition 2. Proposition 2 is about hormat and rukun are interconnected business networking. Okay, from this diagram, from this picture, we know that interaction, this is representing the interaction between rukun and respect. Okay, I will explain from this picture. And from this picture, there is rukun, which is represented with blue color, and the outside, the outline, with the green color, and this is the layer of respect. I will explain that rukun become, from this speech, rukun being the best attitude which have to has by all of the people, all of the Japanese society. And from this attitude, this is interwave all of the people, so they are live in harmony and peacefulness. And then from this, because their life is peacefulness and harmony, so they can have the attitude of respect each other. So from both of the attitude, it can create the attitude which Indonesian ideology want, that is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Rukun and respect being the best combined to realize it, to create the attitude of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, like that. The example like in Bapak and Ibu, Bapakism and from Ibu, they have their life is rukun, harmony with other people, and then they can respect to them because their life is harmony and peacefulness, so they can respect each other to other people. Bapak and Ibu can respect to the people who younger than them, and then Bapak and Ibu can respect to the people who are older than them, like that. Okay, and the next slide, this is the picture of the analogy of kekeluargaan networking. The circle one, this is the circle one is in family. In family, and the circle 2 is in business context. In the circle 1, family is family in the most inside of the circle, and then the outer society. And when they are not family, when the people who are not our family and so far from the relation of family from us, we will have more higher sungkan and respect, because we try to honor other people who never and who are not closer with us. And then in business context, when there is a people who are the position or the place is higher than us, like our manager, our director, or like in the college our lecturer, we will respect more to them. We will respect more to them, and yes, we will respect more and more honor to them, because they are their position and their position higher than us, like that.
Now I'm Lindawati Hasyim. I would like to present about the proposition 3. Proposition 1 have explained by Anna, and the proposition 2 have explained by Dany. Now I would like to present proposition 3. Kekeluargaan is a cellular norm which differ from another Asian business norm. Okay, here there is a table. The table show us about the comparison of kekeluargaan and other terminology. Here there are three countries that are Japan, China, and then Korea. Those countries have a business that will compare with Indonesian business norm. Okay, here there is a kekeluargaan term from Indonesia, and the uchi is a family that from the Japanese, and then guangxi is a relationship in business from the China, and then Korean yomo. From the root metaphor is a fundamental perspective or point of view based on opinion. Here there is a family from kekeluargaan, home from Yuchi, and then harmony from Guangxi, and family, university, and region-based type from the Korean yomo. For the sources of legitimacy or where the business from the kekeluargaan in business, we must have an inner relationship with of a family. And then for Korean yomo, the sources of legitimacy is dividing people into in groups and out groups. So there is a border between each group. For the guangxi, formal and informal exchange, and then trust each other to develop network. And then for Korean yomo, we must have for the Korean yomo, predetermined by birth and university affiliation, and then the participant from the Korean yomo is not voluntary, but there is a special character for the business. And for the sources of identity from kekeluargaan, we must have interaction with people in business. And for the UT, long-term and long-term give and take principle. So it means that when we give something to another people, so another people have to give something to us, like that, like a reciprocal context. For the guangxi, there is a social respect, dignity, and public image for the business. And for the Korean yomo is we must have a connection to family, and then we must have from the same institution and the same region. For the basis of norm in the term kekeluargaan, there is a rukun and respect. So in business, we have to respect each other to make the people in company rukun or solid, or maybe harmony. For the UT, there is a mutual relationship. So we have it's like long-term give and take principle, like I said before. And then for the guangxi, the basis of norm is face. We must have the same face, and then affect, and then reciprocal, like Yuchi. For the Korean yomo, we must have a flexible, and then tolerance each other, and then understanding each other and trust each other. For the sources of authority in the kekeluargaan, leaders value. It means that leaders have important role in business. For the Japanese sushi, there is a seniority is evident. So the senior
is important element in business. For the Chinese Guangxi family business relationship, so there is a relationship between this family company and with another company. And then for the Korean Yongo, apparent and exclusive network. Korea have a exclusive network with another company. Then to some extent, the Indonesian kekeluargaan, the Korean Yongo, and the Chinese Guangxi so similarities in that informal networking exists, and its influence towards business networking is so large. And then on this proposition, there are several important aspects on this proposition on fundamental basis. Kekeluargaan actually is an acculturation of several interpretations in various ethnic groups. It can be from Batak, Javanese, Sundanese, or so on. And then those are become a common norm to Indonesians. So here there are some definition about the leader's role. The leader's role is one of the most important elements in the context of kekeluargaan. The first one is the leader is in important role to conduct element in the context. And then for the second, the leader's position as a father in country remains a critical variable. And the third is the fatherhood and leader's role can be equated to the father and son relationship, where there is a strong egalitarian norm embedded in the society. And the last is from our first president Soekarno. He said that kekeluargaan as a spirit to mutual cooperation, or usually we call gotong royong. And then his vice president Muhammad Hatta said that social ethical interaction helping each other to have a mutual understanding. And for the last, about the conclusion. This study underpins the foundation of Indonesia's organization culture, in which kekeluargaan acts as one of the ubiquitous norms in Indonesia. And elements such as founders' value, kekeluargaan, and tolerance and ethnic background are some of the drivers not discovered in Western studies. This research introduced a constructive approach to identify factors contributing to the formation of Indonesian business and organizational culture of Indonesian society. And about the indigenous qualitative study of ethnicity and cultures enables a more comprehensive understanding of cultural diversity on business practices. About a relevant epistemology with an indigenous approach provides a different angle of the culture, in which kekeluargaan appears in nature within a society and hierarchical structure. It represents the enacted of value of the rational behavior and manifestation that represent the true color of Indonesia. Kekeluargaan, on the other hand, involves the smooth communication and understanding of networking among Indonesians, which underpins the management practice within intra and inter-organization. In the term of human resource management, the non-Indonesian leaders are advised to maintain harmony, conflict avoidance, and space in order to manage Indonesian staff respectfully. Overall, it is expected that the study can contribute as one of the primary source of the Southeast Asian business paradigm. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for the time.
From our presentation, thank you. Assalamualaikum
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.